Hi, my name is Maggie Downey from Personal Euphoria Pilates, and I wanted to talk about movement today, how our body is all connected, and we do move together as a unit. So if you think of the spine as sort of snake-like, when we move, everything connected should come along with us. There should be this fluid movement. But at the same time, there are parts of our bodies that we should be able to move independently from other parts. So, for example, I should be able, when I walk, to move my legs without moving my pelvis. When I lift my leg to take a step, my pelvis should not tuck under, right? I think we can all agree that you wouldn't want to walk and have your pelvis come along with you for the ride. When I go up a flight of stairs, my pelvis also shouldn't tuck under as my leg lifts, right? I mean, this looks very military style, but ideally my pelvis stays neutral as my legs lift. When I walk, I shouldn't sway from side to side, right? My pelvis shouldn't be moving from side to side. My legs should be able to move freely from my pelvis. Likewise, my pelvis should have some motion front to back without my legs and without my ribs coming along for the ride. So if I move my pelvis, I shouldn't have to collapse at my chest. There should be some amount of movement where your legs can move without your pelvis can move without your legs or your ribs. And I have found with clients, especially, for example, runners with either tight, this goes for everybody, but runners are a good example. If you have tight hip flexors and a tight TFL and IT band down the side of your leg, you very often move as a chunk. And if you can't learn to separate your legs from your pelvis and your pelvis from your ribs, you will often keep re-injuring yourself. You've got to learn to, when you run, or if you're not a runner and you're just a walker and you walk, to get separation of the pelvis and legs. So there are a couple of good ways to do this, but one is a very basic Pilates exercise called Pilates tilts. And you realize how subtle this is when you try not to move any other part of your body. So a lot of times people will do pelvic tilts, and if you look at me right now my neck is moving, my ribs are popping, every part of my body is being affected by me trying to move my pelvis. Because I'm not supporting other structures, creating stability, and then gently moving something. If I move my pelvis from only my abs and stabilize every other part of my body, when I rock to imprint and neutral, I'm no longer affected. My neck isn't rocking back and forth, my ribs aren't curling down or popping up as I go. Alright? And this can be a challenge based on where we have tightnesses in our body. Okay? But you want to think nice and small. I rather see someone in my classes do this exercise and feel like they're barely moving at all than to try and make it big but have everything else get jarred. So think very subtle here. The next step you want to take is to make sure you can do that without your legs moving. So as long as your back feels safe in this position, and if it doesn't, you can put your feet against a wall, and I'd recommend starting there anyway because it's a little easier if you have a wall to support your feet. But you're going to rock to imprint, bring one leg to tabletop and then the other. Hands are at your sides for support, and now we're going to do that same thing. We're going to rock to neutral and imprint. And if when you do this, your legs just come along for the ride as if they're extensions of your pelvis instead of separate things, you need to try to break that down so that you can move your pelvis without your legs. And here it becomes very tiny. It also starts to feel like a lot of ab work. So if you're someone who likes to work your abs, this is a great way to do that. It's very subtle. The reason having a wall with your feet against it is good is because not only is your back protected more, but you can push into that wall and distract your legs, okay? And learn to do it with a little distraction. Here I have nothing to distract my legs with. I just have to shut off my hip flexors and use only my abdominal muscles and obliques. So those are some good things to practice. You can practice sitting up too. Can you move your pelvis without everything else reacting? Can you make it nice and tiny? Just the pelvis rocking back and forth. Okay? So trying to get mobility in that pelvic region without your legs and your ribs being affected is a really big part of staying healthy, staying mobile, walking for a long time, running for a long time, and ideally staying injury-free. All right? Have a great day. Thanks for watching.